So it's that time of the year. We have a month left until the Premier League transfer window ends. We're going to be having a quick look here at all the transfers of every Premier League club, the ins and the outs. So we're doing this alphabetically. Looking at Arsenal first, leaving Arsenal, Aaron Ramsey has joined Juventus on a free after maybe a few words of encouragement from Cristiano Ronaldo, the man himself. David Ospina, after a year-long loan at Napoli, has moved there for a fee of 3.15 million. Steven Lichtsteiner and Danny Welbeck have both run down their contracts and without clubs. Denis Suarez moves back to Barcelona after a year-long loan. And Petr Cech, at the age of 37, what a career that man has had, has now retired. Coming in for Arsenal, winger Gabriel Martinelli moves from Brazilian side Ituano for a fee of 6 million. Reiss Nelson and Takuma Asano return from loans from Hannover and Hoffenheim respectively. I know a lot of Arsenal fans want to see Reiss Nelson play a more instrumental part in their campaign next season. We'll see how that goes. On to Aston Villa, they've been quite busy already. 7 players have run down their contracts and are now without clubs, including the likes of Mika Richards and Mila Jedinak. Richard Elite moves to Antwerp on a free, Tommy Elphick moves to Huddersfield on a free, and Gary Gardner moves to Birmingham City for an undisclosed fee. Coming into Aston Villa, they've really broken the bank here. They've made a record signing of £22 million for Brazilian centre-forward Wesley from Club Brugge. They've also signed left-back Matt Targett from Southampton for a fee of £14 million. They've signed on Anwar El Ghazi from Los Lille after a year-long loan for a fee of 8.1 million. They've dipped into Wolves for 23-year-old centre-back Courtney House for 3 million. And they've also signed winger Jota from Birmingham City for an undisclosed fee. You can really see they're really trying to break the bank and keep themselves up this coming season. On to Bournemouth. Leaving Bournemouth, Mark Pugh's contract has ended. Emerson Hindman is on loan at Atlanta United, and Jermaine Defoe stays on loan at Rangers until May of 2020. For Bournemouth, only one signing so far. The 20-year-old left-back Lloyd Kelly has moved from Bristol City for a fee of £13.3 million. It will be very interesting to see how he fares in the Premier League next season. On to Brighton. Leaving Brighton, Richie Tower has moved on a free to the class of 92's Salford City. Captain Bruno has now retired and is working as a senior development coach ahead of the new season. Coming into Brighton, another club who's broken their record transfer fee, they have signed 24-year-old winger Leandro Trossard from Genk for a fee of 18 million. They've also signed centre-back Matt Clark from Portsmouth for a fee of 3.5 million after he was instrumental in their push for fourth in League One last season. They also have a host of 8 players returning from their respective loans. On to Burnley, they've been quite inactive thus far. The only real things of note is that Stephen Ward has joined Stoke on a free after his contract has run down, and Pope has committed himself to Burnley on a long-term contract. On to Chelsea, and although they have a transfer ban, they've actually been reasonably busy. After much speculation over the years, Eden Hazard has now moved to Real Madrid for a fee of £90 million. Right back Ola Anya has been sold to Torino for £9 million. And Thomas Callas has joined Bristol City for a fee of £8.1 million. Gary Cahill is now without contract and without club, but many Premier League clubs are coming in for him, and it's likely we will see him in the Premier League next season. Gonzalo Higuain is now at the end of his loan and goes back to Juventus, and it's looking unlikely he will return to the Premier League after he didn't have the impact that was hoped. Coming into Chelsea, Frank Lampard is arguably their biggest signing so far. They really hope that he can help them push for them top 4 spaces next season. Mateo Kovacic, after his loan at Chelsea, has been bought by them from Real Madrid for a fee of 40 million. They have a whole array of players returning from their loans, 11 in fact. Noticeably, Pulisic now completes his move after Chelsea bought him in January for 57.5 and then loaned him out to Dortmund. He returns from there now. Tammy Abraham and Michy Batshuayi return from Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. On to Crystal Palace. Leaving Crystal Palace, Aaron Wan-Bissaka goes to Manchester United for 50 million. He's one of the brightest English talents out there, so it'll be very interesting to see how he fares at a bigger club. Jason Puncheon, Julian Speroni and Bakary Saka are now all out of contracts, with Michy Batshuayi and Jordan Ayew loans ending, going back to their parent club. Coming into a Crystal Palace, the only really thing of note is that Yarzalo Yak and Alexander Soroth return from their loans. On to Everton. Leaving Everton, Nikolai Vlasic moves to CSKA Moscow for a fee of 13.1 million. Phil Jagielka, now aged 36, has gone to newly promoted side Sheffield United. Good luck to them. Various other players have also left on a free or run down their contracts, including the now forgotten Ashley Williams, who was once instrumental in Swansea's side. Now coming in to Everton, They've done a very good bit of business here. They've signed Andre Gomez from Barcelona for a fee of 22.5 million in this day and age. That's a very good price, especially after the loan season he had at Everton last season. They've also signed Jonas Lossell on a free for Huddersfield, and they have various other players coming back from loan, including the likes of Omar Niasse and Kevin Morales, etc. On to Leicester City. Leaving Leicester City, Danny Simpson and Shinji Okazaki are now without contract and are without a club. Youri Tielemans returns to Monaco after his year-long loan. Coming into Leicester City, they splashed out the cash here, £13 million for 25-year-old Spanish striker Ayoze Perez from Newcastle. They've also signed right-back James Justin from Luton Town for an undisclosed fee, with various players returning on loan, including once record signing Islam Slimani. On to Liverpool. Leaving Liverpool, Danny Ings has joined Southampton for a fee of £20 million after his loan spell there. Alberto Moreno and Daniel Sturridge are now both without contracts. Coming into Liverpool, not really too much to note, apart from 17-year-old centre-back Sepp van den Berg, joins from PEC Zwolle in the Dutch league. On to their rivals for the title next season, Manchester City. Leaving Manchester City, their long-term captain Vincent Kompany has joined Anderlecht on a free, and Anthony Caceres has joined Sydney FC on a free. Coming into Manchester City, one of the big money signings so far is defensive midfielder Rodri from Atletico Madrid for 63 million, hopefully being a replacement for Fernandinho for them. They've re-signed Angelino from PSV Eindhoven after selling him only last year for a fee. They rebuy him for a fee of 11 million. They've also signed goalkeeper Zach Stefan from Columbus Crew for a fee of 7.2 million. Onto the red side of Manchester. Leaving Manchester United, long-term captain Antonio Valencia joins Ecuadorian league side LDU Quito on a free. Centre mid Ander Herrera has joined PSG on a free after his wage demands could not be met, and James Wilson joins Aberdeen on a free. Coming into Manchester United, their big money signing so far, as mentioned, Wan Bissaka joins from Crystal Palace for a fee of £50 million. Winger Daniel James joins from Swansea for a fee of £50 million. On to Newcastle. Leaving Newcastle, Ayoze Perez, as mentioned before, joins Leicester City for £13 million. Mohamed Diame is now without contract and without club, and Kennedy goes back to Chelsea after his loan has ended. Coming in for Newcastle, nothing really to note apart from a few returning loanees. On to Norwich. Leaving Norwich, Marcel Frankie goes to Hannover 96 for a fee of 1.5 million, along with a few players running down their contracts or leaving on a free. Coming into Norwich, a good bit of business here. Ralph Farman joins from FC Schalke on a loan fee of 2.7 million. They've also signed 17-year-old Daniel Adsheed from Rochdale for a fee of £300,000. Josip Drmic joins from Borussia Mönchengladbach on a free, and Patrick Roberts returns to Norwich on a loan from Manchester City. To newly promoted side Sheffield United. Leaving Sheffield United, there have been a few loans or free transfers. Colin Lavery and Daniel Lafferty are now without clubs. Into Sheffield United, Phil Jagielka moves from Everton on a free. Hopefully for them, he can keep them up. Attacking midfielder also, Luke Freeman has joined from QPR for an undisclosed free. Jake Eastwood joins from Scunthorpe on a year loan, along with Nathan Thomas, who joins from Gillingham on a year loan. To the Saints, Southampton, Matt Targett has been offloaded to Aston Villa for a fee of 14 million, and centre mid Stephen Davies has joined Rangers on a free. Coming into Southampton, Danny Ings, after his loan spell at Southampton, joins them from Liverpool for a fee of 20 million. They also signed centre forward Che Adams from Birmingham for 15 million, and Moussa Giannoppo from Standard Liège. Out of the lower clubs, they've definitely been spending a lot more than the others. On to Tottenham Hotspur. Leaving Tottenham Hotspur, Fernando Llorente and Mikel Vorm contracts have now ended. It'll be interesting to see whether a Premier League side or another side comes into for Fernando Llorente, as he was quite instrumental in their push for the Champions League final last season. Coming in for Spurs now, shockingly, they've made not one but two signings so far, with more on the cards. They've signed central midfielder Tanguy Ndombele from Olympique Lyon for a fee of £54 million, along with 18-year-old Jack Clark from Leeds for a fee of £10 million, and Kevin Nkudu returns from his loan from AS Monaco. On to Watford, Obi Alra leaves for Standard Liège for a fee of £2.7 million. Jerome Sinclair goes to VVV Venlo on loan. Coming into Watford, they've signed Craig Dawson from West Brom for a fee of £5.5 million. Also, João Pedro, centre forward from Fluminense for a fee of £2.25 million, with a vast array of players returning from their respective loans. Now to West Ham United, that club in London. Ed Millicent Fernandez leaves two mains for a fee of £6.75 million. Lucas Perez, the once Arsenal player, leaves to go to Alaves for £2 million. He has not really had the effectiveness in the Premier League that Arsenal or West Ham will have hoped. On to another ex-Arsenal player, Sami Nasri goes to RSC Anderlecht on a free, and Adrian and Andy Carroll are both without contracts. Coming in to West Ham, their big money signing so far is 23-year-old attacking midfielder Pablo Fornals from Villarreal for £25 million. Could this be another Payet for them? Goalkeepers David Martin and Roberto join from Millwall and Espanyol respectively, and Reece Oxford returns from loan. On to Wolves. Leaving Wolves, Courtney House has joined Aston Villa for a fee of £3 million, and Helder Costa goes to Leeds on loan. And coming in, Raul Jimenez joins from Benfica for a fee of £34 million after a very, very successful loan season. And defensive midfielder Leander Dendoncker moves from RSC Anderlecht for a fee of £12.1 million, and they have many players returning on loan. Thank you guys for watching the ins and outs so far. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like and enjoy your day.